what's your favorite? Like, do you have any like remarkable healing stories from clients? Like a couple of your favorites, like stage 4 cancer, boom,
Absolutely. I had a gentleman with stage 4 cancer up in Michigan, and he bought a system from us, and he comes back to me and he tells me his story. And it was just, he was a young father, a father of young children rather. And he was given stage 4, and he was given 6 months to live. And, he decided he wasn't going to do chemo and radiation, and he did EWOT and changed his diet. And he came back to me and said, Brad, I wasn't even able to walk without a cane when I started this. And now I just got done walking 6 miles, and I'm on the other side of this thing. And it's like the stories that matter are the ones where you just hear how it affects people personally. You know what I mean? Like, this is a person, this is a dad, and he had young children. And to know, like, I know that feeling because I was there worried about like what's going to happen to my family if I can't work or if I die. And so that one really touched me. We have folks using it for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
yeah.
I
What are those improvements looking like?
Yeah, um, Alzheimer's. Obviously, there's a variety of things going on there. There's a very famous doctor, Dale Bredesen, who's got a protocol to reverse cognitive decline, and they've
He was on the
started to.
podcast. We love
Yes,
Dale. Yeah.
it's amazing. And they've started to recommend EWOT to folks for their RECODE program, which is reversing cognitive decline. And we've had folks talking to us and just saying, I've even had folks come back to me and say, my husband did it and he's done it 6 times now, and I already notice a difference. The days he's doing it, he's more cogent. He's getting his personality back. Um, and I have people using it for, actually, one of my favorite stories is I had a gentleman who was using it for CTE.
Yeah.
Um, and so
Football player, hockey player?
he was actually jumped by a couple gangs,
Oh,
and he was in a couple car accidents.
oh my God.
And when he was young, and now he was an adult, and he was doing tax returns. I know it seems like a big difference. And he was doing tax returns, and he would talk about, he's like, the brain fog is so bad. I can't do my job. I don't even know what I'm doing. And I just get angry, and I can't control my emotions. And the first day he did it, he said, he came back to us and told us, the first day I did it, I had, my brain was clear. And the rest of that afternoon, I felt great. He's like, I was back to my old self. He's like, the next day was more of the same. He's like, so he would do it every other day. And he's like, on the days I did it, I was great. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, he was like, now I'm feeling good for both days. And so he was crawling out of that. And, he's like, I no longer have these rage issues that you often hear about people having with CTE or concussions. And so it's just amazing for so many things. At the base of it, your body needs oxygen to produce energy. Energy isn't just about us feeling awake and alert. Energy is about each cell doing everything it needs to do its best. So when your liver has the oxygen it needs, it can detoxify well. When your brain has it, it can help you think more clearly and recall memories better. And so it's helping so many people, so many things. It's amazing.
I wonder, are there studies done on how oxygen rich, EWOT and hyperbaric and everything helps actually? Because the brain, CTE is actual injury to the brain, and obviously with Alzheimer's and cognitive decline and all of that stuff. Like, are there studies that show actual physical healing happening in the brain with oxygen?
Yeah, I haven't seen anywhere they've done brain imaging, but when they talk about to people about their like disability scores or their cognitive performance pre and post with that, yes, there are definitely studies that show people healing and improving their performance. And I always say, it's like when you're really sick with a chronic health condition, um, it would be nice to be perfectly healed and back to where you are. But like when you're at the bottom of that well, so to speak, you're just thrilled if you can get 5 steps closer to the top, sort of thing. Like progress means so much because it means hope, and it keeps your spirit alive and it keeps you going. And I've just that's actually some of the best stuff is when I have customers come back to us early on in their healing journey and they're like, oh my gosh, there is actually there I can see light at the end of this tunnel sort of thing. And that's
I
always
think
exciting.
I always say like relief, whether it's from pain, whether it's from, emotional or physical pain, like relief is, or a symptom, relief from a symptom is like the best feeling in the world. If you can just
Right?
get relief, and then of course improvement but it's like, yeah, I can see that. Do you have any insight? Because you were pretty sick. You had lots of layers of different stuff going on. Do you have any insight of where that all began? Obviously, there was some genetic stuff happening with the polyps. Is like, do you look back at your childhood environment? Like, why was your inner environment so rich for all of these,
It
imbalances?
was, I think everyone who has sickness has a variety of different things going on. With what I'd say is with Lyme disease, obviously there's a bacterial infection component to it. What people don't know about Lyme disease is when we hear about Lyme disease, we hear about ticks. Everyone talks about ticks. And then they tell you that the ticks can only live in certain states, like they adhere to state lines or something, which is always interesting.
I know, it's so wild to me.
But what they don't tell you is there's so many other ways you can get it. You can actually get Lyme disease from a mosquito or a spider bite. Um, and I had not only did I have Lyme, I had one of its best friends, Bartonella. So these two infections like to go together and like they tag team you to beat you up and knock down your immune system. Bartonella is the infectious agent that causes cat scratch disease or cat scratch fever. And Bartonella is in 25% of the mammal population, and it's in all like homeless people, it's very high, near 100%. Feral animals, it's nearly 100%. And well, when I was in kindergarten, we took in a feral cat. And shortly after that, I started to get symptoms, strange symptoms that would come and go my whole life. Um, but my immune system kept those things kind of small and transient for the most part. To your comment, there was also another component which was lifestyle and probably some spiritual components to it as well. Um, I moved out to California in 2009, and we bought a short sale house. And I was renovating that house for 2 or 3 years, doing it like so. I'd go to my day job, and then I would do physical labor all evening, and trying to get this house put together for my family. And it really took a toll. I enjoyed it. I loved every minute of it until all of a sudden the arthritis started creeping in, and then the energy level. And I think I just beat myself up. And so over time, that was kind of what lit the wick. And once it got going, it becomes this like it takes on this life of itself, and it just becomes deeper and deeper. And you kind of see the light closing in on you, and it's pretty scary. When you see that. I just remember feeling like the life force was like draining out of me, and like I didn't even have the energy to fight that. I was just like, geez, you start pondering what's going to be of your life and your family and everything.
Hmm.
So
Well, I mean, I just love when stories of triumph and um, just when you had that moment of intuition where the guy offered you a different brand name, but no real solution. And then you started to you opened your aperture to consider other things. Oxygen therapies were recommended, and then you just, couldn't find anything out there that you trusted, didn't have the means to do another 15, $50,000 experiment.
yeah,
So you're just like, well, I'm going to create my own and try it and look. And then you created a company that allows access to this tremendously beneficial therapy that's natural and not harmful and um is incredible not only for healing anything chronic but also preventing and just keeping us in optimal health. Thank you for listening to the Heal with Kelly podcast. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for more empowering wisdom and inspiring healing stories. And make sure you hit the follow button on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss that one episode that holds the answer you've been searching for. Oh, and if you found this episode inspiring, please rate, review, and share Heal with Kelly so that we can grow our audience and reach more people. We truly appreciate it. Lots of love.